Screen, our political director, Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein, our chief Washington correspondent, John Carl. And Rick, I want to start with you. New polling, lots of early voting numbers.
Yeah, good morning, George. Our new poll with Ipsos has Kamala Harris right now back in front, a 4-point lead, 51-47 in the matchup with former President Trump. That is up from about 2 points nationally a few weeks back. But they may not look exactly what it seems to be, because if you narrow it down to the battleground states, it is a good bit tighter. Checking out our 538 battleground state polling averages, you see Harris with a narrow lead, but that is actually a little bit smaller than it was a few weeks ago. Donald Trump now up in 5 of the 7 battlegrounds, but it is so close, all well within the margin of error. President Biden's approval rating in our poll just 36%, and clearly a drag on Harris. As for early voting, more than 41 million Americans and growing have already cast their votes. This is a larger share of Republicans overall voting earlier than 4 years ago. Not totally a surprise, because Trump told his supporters last time not to vote early and has changed his tune somewhat this time. In some battleground states, we have some fresh numbers in Michigan, where the first weekend of early in-person voting just finished, and you can see the number of Republicans, likely Republicans, growing year over year. Now 39% of early voters. There's still more Democrats, but that is a shift. And in Arizona, we actually see more likely Republican voters than likely Democratic voters. Again, a shift from 4 years ago. But a lot of these votes, though, seem to be people that vote in every election. It's still too early to say who's going to win this election, because the people that are going to determine it probably haven't voted yet, George.
And Rick, more than ever before, perhaps in this election, it's unclear what the impact of this national poll really is.
Yeah, and just to go back to our poll, 47% for Donald Trump. Well, to give you a sense, he got 46.1% back in 2016, and he won that election. 4 years later, he got 46.9%. That's 47% almost exactly, and he lost that election. So it could very much still go either way. And if we all know that the polls were off last time around, this is with the electoral map with the battleground states not assigned right now. It wouldn't take much of a swing, though, in the polling to have a big swing in the Electoral College. If the polls are off as much as they were in 2020, if they understated Trump's support all over again, this is what we're looking like. Trump with 312 electoral votes. But if they're off in the other direction, if they're understating Harris, much like they did in 2022 for Democrats, this is what we're looking like. So this may seem counterintuitive, but it's where we are. The polls are so close, it shouldn't come as a surprise to have something of an electoral landslide in either direction, George.
Yeah, it's so hard to know where things